You did a number of other westerns. I saw the one that just came out on DVD, Roughshod, with John Ireland and so forth. And you really looked at home with the horses and all that.
Right, the horses, yeah.
Yeah, and
John was it Robert Sterling and
Robert Sterling, John Ireland. Yeah.
Gloria Grahame.
Gloria Grahame. Yeah, Gloria Grahame out west in a covered wagon. No less. That was interesting. And then, of course, Hangman's Knot that we spoke about briefly today. The only film directed by the writer Roy Huggins, who wrote in his memoir, he said, "I directed a film so I could just find out how hard it was, and anyone can direct a movie. It's easy."
So I ended up shooting Lee Marvin.
Yeah, he killed Lee Marvin, you know. Clue Gallagher, his old pal, the killers, Lee Marvin.
Absolutely one of my favorite people. He was
Lee?
Oh my God, yeah. He was hilarious, fun guy, terrific actor.
Yes, very
A
true.
real war hero also.
Yes, he was.
So he was an interesting guy.
Yeah. So there came a time where you left the film world and you ended up being in charge of the San Francisco International Film Festival for 12 years. How did that transition occur?
Well, I moved to San Francisco in 1963, and the festival was just kind of getting underway, and it was really in a small theater. It wasn't big. It needed expanding, and the Chamber of Commerce took it over, and I was one of the people who was instrumental in doing that. And then in 1965, I guess, I became the executive director there, and did that for 12 years. And we had a lot of, in those days, film festivals were great because there weren't that many.
Right.
There was the Cannes Festival, the New York Festival, Berlin, and San Francisco. And there wasn't a film next, there wasn't Chicago. So we were able to get people, and we were able to get a lot of people to do these tributes. I can't think of anybody we didn't have. You know, it was just amazing, and ranging from Natalie Wood to Paul Newman,
Right.
Jane Fonda, you name it, we had them all there. All the directors, John Ford came, Walt Disney, and
Why was I too young?
so it was a great experience. But I really got to see a lot of people that I admired, and it was fun.
That's great. And then you produced a film on involved with the rock impresario Bill Graham. And how was it being on the production end of things?
It was great. We had a few partners, and we had a small film company. We were doing documentaries, and Bill Graham announced that he was going to close the Fillmore. This was in 1970, I think.
Right.
And we got permission to film it. And what we really filmed was how Bill was orchestrating the closing. And you know, the evidence on the phone, talking to the Grateful Dead, talking to Santana, Boz Scaggs, all the people who were in the film.
That was the Woodstock era.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it was, and it's still around.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, yes.
And he was fascinating. He was an actor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, well, any questions from the audience for Claude? Faulkner. Did you know Faulkner had any interaction with him?
Yes, I knew his daughter, and she would have dances at her house. On Saturday night, we'd go out there, and he was famous for sort of walking through with in his shorts with a bottle of whiskey in his hand. and I saw him in Nashville 10 years later, and I was getting on a plane, and he was getting on the plane. I said, "Hello, Mr. Faulkner, Claude Jarman." "Hello, Claude. How's things in Oxford, Mr. Faulkner?" "Oxford's fine." "Well, nice talking to you, Mr. Faulkner." but he was
fairly taciturn.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Yeah.
I think I was 12 years old. We made this movie up in Bridgeport, California, up in the mountains, and spent 3 months on location there. And she was one of Bernadette, I forget who, there were like 5
Dancing girls. Yeah, that's right.
So it was, you know, she was, I loved her as an actress. She did a lot of interesting thing.
She's great. We had her here last night at Sudden Fear. She's terrific.
No, she was
Phenomenal.
Who was the best actor or actress you ever worked with?
obviously Gregory Peck was
yeah.
fabulous to work with, and
I
was
would
very
think so.
good, very believable. Was always on time, always, you know, just right on it, and he was a total joy to work with. And I saw him maybe a couple of years before he passed away. We were, I don't know if you saw it back, maybe 10 years ago, when they had the Academy Awards, and they had everyone who had ever won an award.
Yeah, they had all the
stage,
winners back, yeah.
on stage, and he was there, and we were backstage, and I had literally not seen him in 40 years. So I went over and said hello, and he took me over to his wife, Veronique, and he said, "Veronique, this is my son."
That's sweet.
So it was very sweet. He was a wonderful, wonderful person. Well, it definitely made an impact. You know, I thought it was, things were beginning to change. I was living in, well, actually, I was still in Hollywood, but I was sort of spending a lot of time in Nashville, which is where I grew up. So I was pretty much aware of everything that was going on. I could see things happening more in improvement in the South than I did outside the South at that time. Because you could see there was a more congenial situation, and you see it now in Nashville, guys. You know, it's totally different. There's I don't think there's any racial issues. There'll always be some, I guess, but it's not a powerful problem right now.
Well, I think Intruder is a film that you look at, you can reflect upon how far we've come and also how far we have to go. So with that, Claude, I tell you, it's been a joy having you and your wife here. I think it's been fantastic, and I think everyone will agree with me, and thank you so much for being on.